Comment down below where you're watching from and like and subscribe if you hate Karens. Okay, buckle up, buttercups, because this story is a wild ride. You might want to grab some popcorn. You all know how these Karen stories go, but trust me, this one's got a twist you won't see coming. So, a little about me. I'm Marcus Reynolds, and I own a cherry red Lamborghini Gallardo. Yeah, I know, a bit flashy, but I worked my tail off for it, and it's my baby. I live in a decent neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mostly quiet streets, friendly neighbors, mostly. This happened a few weeks back. I was washing the Lambo in my driveway on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Windows down, blasting some old school Outcast, just enjoying the day. That's when SHE rolled up. Enter Karen, complete with the signature asymmetrical bob, designer sunglasses perched on her nose, and an aura of entitlement that could choke a rhino. I swear, you could practically smell the pumpkin spice latte on her breath from 20 feet away. Her chariot? A pristine white Escalade, naturally. Karen, let's call her Brenda, because that just feels right, gets out, struts over to me, and without even a hello or nice car, she says, I'll give you $1 for it. Now, I'm no stranger to people commenting on my car. I get it. It's a Lambo. But the audacity of this woman. I figured she was joking. Excuse me? I asked, turning the music down. Brenda sneered. You heard me. $1. It's an eyesore. It doesn't fit the aesthetic of this neighborhood. I'm doing you a favor by taking it off your hands. I kid you not, folks. She actually said that. I nearly choked on my own spit. I chuckled, trying to keep things light. Sorry, Brenda, but this eyesore cost me more than your house. It's not for sale, especially not for $1. That's when the crazy eyes came out. You know the ones. The eyes that promise a world of pain and entitlement if you don't comply. You're being unreasonable, she screeched, her voice rising. I'm offering you a generous amount. And frankly, I don't appreciate your attitude. I can tell you are new to this neighborhood, and that lowrider of yours is a menace to the serenity of this community. I held my hands up, palms out. Okay, Brenda, I understand your concerns and I will be happy to reach out to the HOA and get you the contact information. However, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now. I'm trying to enjoy my Saturday. Big mistake. Huge. She pulls out her phone, jabs at the screen, and says, I'm calling the police. I'm being harassed and threatened by this man. He's refusing to sell me his vehicle, and I can't help but feel unsafe in this neighborhood being that he's clearly a stranger. I just stood there, dumbfounded, as she launched into a full-blown Karen meltdown with the 911 operator. I could hear her spewing nonsense about being discriminated against and feeling unsafe because I, a black man, wouldn't sell her my perfectly legal, legitimately owned red sports car for the price of a gumball. Within minutes, a police cruiser showed up. 2 officers, 1 male, 1 female, stepped out. I explained the situation calmly, showing them my registration and proof of ownership. They were clearly trying not to laugh at Brenda's ridiculous claims. The female officer, Officer Johnson, was especially professional. She took Brenda aside and spoke to her for a good long while. I could see Brenda getting more and more agitated, waving her arms around like a demented conductor. Finally, Officer Johnson came back to me. Mr. Reynolds, everything seems to be in order here. We've explained to Ms. Henderson that she can't force you to sell your property. We are going to have to give her a stern warning for misuse of the 911 system. I nodded, relieved. Thank you, officer. Brenda, red-faced and fuming, stomped back to her Escalade, gave me one last venomous glare, and sped off. I thought that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. The next day, I found flyers plastered all over the neighborhood with a grainy photo of me and my car. The headline? Neighborhood Watch Alert, Suspicious Individual. It went on to accuse me of all sorts of ridiculous things, drug dealing, loitering, on my own property, and generally being a menace to society. It also urged neighbors to report any suspicious activity, to the HOA and, of course, the police. It even claimed that my car had questionable modifications, and that I was probably using it for illegal street racing like in Fast and the Furious. I was furious. This was blatant harassment. I contacted a lawyer, David Miller, and he advised me to document everything and file a police report for defamation. Over the next few days, things escalated. I started getting anonymous calls at all hours of the night. People would slow down and gawk as they drove past my house. Some even yelled insults. It was a nightmare. Then came the HOA violations. Apparently, my grass was too long. It wasn't. My trash cans were left out for too long. They weren't. And my car was too visible and detracting from the neighborhood's curb appeal. The HOA president, bless his heart, seemed genuinely embarrassed and admitted that Brenda Henderson had been badgering him relentlessly. That's when I decided enough was enough. I wasn't going to let this crazy woman drive me out of my own home. It was time for some good old-fashioned, Reddit-style revenge. I started by installing security cameras all over my property. High-quality ones with night vision and wide-angle lenses. I made sure they were visible, too. I wanted Brenda to know she was being watched. Next, I contacted a local news station and told them my story. They were all over it. They interviewed me, filmed my car, and even talked to a few of my neighbors, the sane ones, who were appalled by Brenda's behavior. The story aired that evening, and it went viral. Brenda Henderson became the poster child for entitled Karenism. But the real fun was yet to come. Remember how I said I was documenting everything? Well, I had a treasure trove of evidence. The 911 call, the flyers, the HOA violations, the anonymous calls. I had caller ID, folks. My lawyer, David, helped me file a lawsuit against Brenda for harassment, defamation, and emotional distress. We also filed a complaint with the police department for misuse of the 911 system and making false accusations. Brenda lawyered up, of course, but her lawyer quickly realized she was a lost cause. The evidence was overwhelming, and her behavior was indefensible. Here's where it gets interesting. As part of the discovery process, Brenda had to undergo a psychological evaluation. And guess what? The evaluation came back with a diagnosis: delusional disorder, grandiose type. Turns out, Brenda had a long history of mental health issues. She genuinely believed she was entitled to special treatment and that the world revolved around her. Her obsession with my car and her belief that she could simply take it for $1 was a manifestation of her delusions. The judge, after reviewing the evidence and the psychological evaluation, ruled in my favor. Brenda was ordered to pay me a hefty sum in damages, but that wasn't the best part. The judge also ordered her to undergo mandatory psychiatric treatment. That's right, folks. Brenda Henderson, the Karen who tried to steal my Lambo for $1, ended up in a psychiatric facility. But wait, there's more. Remember Officer Johnson, the female officer who responded to Brenda's 911 call? Well, after seeing the news story, she reached out to me. Turns out, Brenda had a history of making false accusations against people, particularly people of color. Officer Johnson had dealt with her before. She told me that after the incident with my car, Brenda had filed a formal complaint against her, accusing her of being biased and unprofessional. The complaint was investigated and dismissed, but it was the last straw for Officer Johnson. She was tired of dealing with Brenda's BS. So, Officer Johnson decided to take matters into her own hands. She contacted the psychiatric facility where Brenda was being treated and provided them with a detailed account of Brenda's behavior and history of making false accusations. She even provided them with copies of the flyers and the 911 call. The psychiatric facility used this information to develop a more comprehensive treatment plan for Brenda. They focused on addressing her delusional thinking and her tendency to make false accusations. The twist? The head psychiatrist assigned to Brenda's case? He was someone Brenda had previously accused of racial bias when he refused to give her son special treatment in school a few years back. Talk about full circle karma. So, Brenda Henderson is now getting the help she desperately needs, and hopefully, she'll learn a valuable lesson about respect, empathy, and the consequences of being an entitled Karen. As for me, I'm back to washing my Lambo on Saturday afternoons, blasting Outcast, and enjoying my life. And every time I see a white Escalade, I can't help but smile. TLDR, Karen tried to steal my Lambo for $1, called the cops on me when I refused, plastered my neighborhood with flyers accusing me of crimes, and ended up in a psychiatric facility, and getting the help she needed thanks to a judge ruling in my favor, and also the hospital psychiatrist that she previously accused of being racist a few years back.